My name is Sergeant Reece Heck. This is the NCO of the year, Staff Sergeant Grayson, and we just completed the ACFT. So you guys better get ready to lace up your tennis shoes and get ready because it's coming this fall. How do you do this deadlift?
All right, so deadlift's pretty basic, but also a little complicated. The big thing is the setup. So you're going to come into the bar, get a good shoulder width stance, point your toes out just a little bit. A couple of the big key notes is not to lean forward too much. A lot of people are going to try to lean in with their knees. It's not a quad dominant exercise, it's a back and a hamstring exercise. So you actually want to sit back into it and engage your hamstrings. One thing I recommend as you're going down, imagine you're trying to flex your hamstrings as you're going down. That's going to keep them nice and tight. So you get down to the bottom of the range, you start to lift, you'll lift with your legs more than with your back. For your grip, the biggest thing that gets a lot of people is they try to grip with their fingers. You're gripping with your palm and you're grabbing it. So imagine you have the bar right there, you grab the bar and you're going to get that little skin fold there. That's what's actually going to hold the bar so that way you don't have to worry about your grip strength. So you come down, once again, make sure you're centered to the bar, and get your hamstrings tight. You grip that bar and you see how I'm cinched in there. All right, now from here, you keep your back straight, shoulders back, head up, and you come up nice and easy. Now for this event, you're going to need to be able to do 3 repetitions in a row. That means you can't let go of the bar, you can't slam the weight down, you don't have to necessarily set the weight down and reset, but you can't bounce either. So it's going to be nice, easy down, nice, easy up. So once again, hamstrings get tight, head up, shoulders back, come up for 1, come down, up for 2, come down, up for 3, come down. Then you can release. Again, always in control of the bar, always keep your back tight. Remember, if you start to roll your back or the greater things that you're about to do something that's going to injure yourself, they can stop the event. So if you find yourself rolling your back, you need to re-engage, pull those shoulders back and keep them tight. Does that make sense?
Yep. Does it matter where on this you grab it?
So what I find for most people is if you take that, your large knuckle right there from your middle finger, and kind of put that in line with the front of this bar here. If anything, you want to be a little farther forward than back. What'll happen if you're too far back is you're gonna lift and you'll be doing this number. That's very uncomfortable.
That does not look correct.
You can be off by a couple centimeters. It's just a matter of comfort. All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
Got any smelling salt?
All right.
We're good.
So remember, shoulders back, chest high, keep your head up, come down. All right, lift with your legs. There you go, easy. Come up again. Good, good. All right, perfect.
Yeah!
That's the deadlift. All right, so next event's going to be the ball throw. This one's pretty easy, but again, there's a couple tricks to it. So number 1 is make sure the ball's dry. You're going to get out here, a lot of times you do a PT test in the morning, so it's wet. They should have towels out here. Make sure that's as dry as possible. It's going to give you the best grip possible. From there, go line up. The big thing is if you're going to jump, that's fine, but you cannot go back behind this line right here. So you really have to make sure that however far back you are, you may have to practice this. You don't go back. You should get at least 1 warm-up throw to practice, so it'll give you a chance. As far as the actual execution goes, big thing here is you're trying to use your whole body. That's the whole point of this exercise, is to show that you can use your shoulders and your core all engaged at once. Remember, it's a distance and a length problem, so leverage is from keep your arm out straight. So if you keep your arm in tight, you try to throw it, it's not going to go very far. Instead, what you want to do is you want to keep your arm straight, so as it comes forward, you have a large distance from a fulcrum. That's going to give you a lot more speed.
Kind of like a catapult?
Basically, yeah. So from here, a lot of people like to do a couple practice moves, kind of get warmed up, but you kind of swing into it. It's almost like if you've ever done a kettlebell swing, it's a similar movement. So you kind of squat down, and you'll come up, and you'll throw it and release at the top. Like so. Now, again, some people like to do a little jump into it. You'll get a little bit more distance, but you definitely want to practice that before the PT test to make sure you're not jumping backwards too much.
Okay.
So the big thing here is just make sure you keep your arms fairly straight and you release at the right time. You don't want to throw it too far down. You also want to go too high up.
Okay.
So again, it just kind of takes some practice. again, you're just trying to get momentum and rhythm going. That's much better. That's about an extra meter you got on that one.
Sweet.
I like it. All right, so the next event's going to be the hand release push-up. Chest up first.
Yeah.
The pec dance. All right. Oh, what is that? I don't know what that is.
That's like a little swimmer warm-up, you know, like Michael Phelps. Anyway.
The keys to this event, the big thing is you have to keep your hands about shoulder width, which means they're going to basically be under your body by the time you go to push up. And you're going to have to come out every time you sit down, and it's going to be a complete reset of the chest and the shoulder muscles, which is kind of the point. The good news, you don't have to go too fast, you don't have to go too slow when it comes to bring your hands out. So if you want, and you're feeling good, pop them out, pop them back in, hit another rep. If you're feeling a little bit tired, you can slow down. As long as you're making continuous movement and continuous, motion, it still counts. So it gives you a chance to give yourself a little bit of a micro rest in between reps. As far as the big things for this one, I mean, it's really just all about shoulder and upper body strength and just keeping your body rigid in a straight line. Your feet need to be, I believe it's about 1 foot apart or more narrow than that. So you're going to keep your feet fairly close together. As far as the setup goes, you'll start off in the down position. When they say go, you'll come in, you'll do a repetition, come out, back in, do a repetition. You have to make sure you come all the way out. If you're out like this, they don't necessarily have to count it. You also have to make sure you come all the way up. If you come up to here, they don't necessarily have to count it. So just like that.
Seems simple enough.
Yeah, a couple of the big things. And what makes this different from the old school push-up is it's going to use a lot less shoulders, a lot more chest muscle. You can angle your elbow differently. So if your elbow's out wider, it's going to make it more chest. If you bring your elbows in more narrow, it's going to make it more arms. So you can kind of change that up. So if your chest starts to get tired, start to move your elbows in a little bit closer, you'll start using your triceps a little more.
If you start with triceps, you can move your elbows.
Exactly. In your case, you have kind of small arms, so I don't know if that's going to help you very much. But for someone like me, I can kind of rotate back and forth all day long.
Let's have a measurement. Measure our biceps. All right, let's do this.
All right.
I'll show you small arms. Here we go.
All right, whenever you're ready. Push up, out, out. Arms go completely straight out. Depending on how picky your grader is, some may or may not count it if they're not absolutely straight out.
Piece of cake.
Easy enough. We're just need like 200 more reps so we get the footage here. All right, so the next event's going to be the sprint drag carry. This one gets a little bit complicated to remember all the steps, but your grader should hopefully be reminding you as you go along. So the goal is you're first going to sprint all the way down. Make sure you touch that line, physically touch it. Most graders want you to actually touch it with your hand or at least your foot. And you're going to come back. You want to grab the sled, you want to drag it all the way down, make sure it goes all the way across the line. Then you want to bring it back all the way across the line. Then you're going to do a side lateral. You can choose which side. You can do the same side both ways, or you can do it one or the other. Just make sure you're not crossing your feet, so you can't be doing this number. It has to be side lateral. And then you're going to come back here. You're going to grab the weights. Again, cross that line, come back. And for our final sprint, go back, touch the line, and come back, and you're done. Easy enough, right?
Yeah, super easy.
Big thing with this one, getting your setup right, just like anything else. You want to make sure that the handles are here so they're going to be easy to grip. For example, the last person that did the event, you're going to come up and it's going to be like that because that's what they did, or that's where they left it because they were doing their event. So you're going to come up, move it, make sure it's still behind the line. All right, it's more complicated than it looks. Make sure these aren't going to cross. You can grab with your hands, you cannot use your wrists, so you can't do any of these numbers right here. So again, kind of a little bit of grip strength exercise if you're not used to it. But just make sure you get that with a good grip. Again, if you try to grab with your fingers, someone like me, I can maybe get away with it, but for a lot of people, it's going to be a distraction. Grab with your fingers, and then you're going to worry about your grip strength the whole time. As far as the drag goes, you really kind of want to get down and lean into it. Especially a lighter weight person, trying to come from a standing position, you have a very bad leverage there. You want to come down into it and drag. A couple other key points. As you cross the lines, for example, this one, once I get to the point where I'm almost across the line, I don't have to keep stepping. If your legs are tired, you can yank it that last little bit and you're done, right?
It's quicker, yeah.
So just to get that last little bit, especially you're going to find your quads are going to be tired. So it's just going to happen. When you do a side laterals, that's going to be your biggest thing is your legs are going to be so tired at that point. We do that side lateral, Just get a decent little squat. You don't have to be super low. And I recommend kind of putting your hands up in the air a little bit, just kind of feels more natural. And you're going to come like this. As far as the carry goes, the biggest thing with the carry is just don't go too fast. Okay. Get a good speed, get your momentum, slowly build momentum as you go that way. Feel what feels comfortable for you. The big thing is you don't want to wear yourself out on any one event. So if you grab those dumbbells, you start sprinting with them, and you wind up kind of twisting your knee, or you kind of like feel awkward.
Yeah, and you're not going to be very good for the run.
Yeah, you're going to be out for the rest of the events, right? So it's big. That's the big thing, just kind of pacing yourself. And really, that's the biggest difference between the ACFT and the APFT. You have to think every event, you have to think about the next one. So when you do a deadlift, maybe you can deadlift 340 for 3 reps, but then you're done for the rest of the day. So what good are you for the rest of the PT test? You have to kind of strategize a little bit and think about it. But yeah, other than that, the big thing, just make sure you grab everything quickly, you do your transitions quickly, do your sprints as fast as you can, obviously. Another thing to remember is like with the weights, you can't drop them when you get to the finish line. So when you cross the finish line, you do have to do at least a semi-controlled set down. So you cross the finish line like that, something like that, then go back, and don't hesitate to do the next event. That's what gets a lot of people, like they'll set the dumbbells down, they'll think, oh, I'm done. It's like, oh wait, I have one more sprint. That's 3 seconds you just wasted. On an event where 2 minutes is considered, you know, a good time, 3 seconds is a pretty major loss to take just because you weren't thinking about it, right? But hopefully your grader will be reminding you as you go along, next event, and you should be good to go. So what do you think, you ready? All right, grab those handles, now go, go, go. Keep it low, kick with those legs. Now again, once you get those feet across that line, just yank that puppy all the way across. There you go. Now side laterals, side laterals. There you go, don't cross those feet. All right, now cross that line, grab those kettlebells. Cross the line, set them down and run. You got it. All right, all the way across. Perfect. All right, you ready to plank?
Yeah, let's do it.
Get hardcore?
Yeah.
So for a plank event, once again, it's kind of similar in terms of setup to the push-up, in terms of your feet about a foot width apart, you can't, or a boot width apart, I believe is what the actual verbiage is. So you can't have your feet super far out. Your hands cannot be touching. So they can be close together, they just can't be touching. What I'll recommend for this one, if you're not really sure how to do a plank, is your elbows are going to probably go out a lot wider than you think. So a lot of times you see someone planking in a movie and they're planking and their arms real tight like this. That's going to be really hard on your shoulders for a lot of people. So a lot of times you'll find you'll want to put your flare your elbows out just a little bit, not like excessively, but a little bit. So they'll say get ready, kind of get your feet sort of in position where you need to be. Set and go. Now your butt has to be pretty much in line with your body, so if you're arching or if you're bowing, the grader may tell you to straighten up. Hopefully they'll give you a couple warnings before they cancel the event, but you do have to keep a generally straight line. And it's all about just keeping your core rigid. So kind of I would recommend finding something to focus on the ground in front of you. Like for me, it's a little piece of grass right there for some odd reason. And again, just kind of take your mind off of it. It's not too bad. The one thing I'll say though, if you know you're going to be close on that run, doing the max on the plank when you're risking the run, because this will hurt your run time a little bit because you're going to tire your core out. So if you know you're close on the run, I'd recommend kind of not going too hardcore on the plank itself, right? But I know you're a hardcore soldier, so that's not a problem for you, but for some old man like me. Let's do it. All right, let's see what you got. So remember, hands can't be touching.
Right here.
Yeah, that's good. Whoever's comfortable. And whenever you're ready. All right, so now from here, you'd have to lower your butt just a little bit. There you go, perfect. That's your spot right there, that's your zone. From here, I say just take your mind somewhere else. What are you thinking about?
Grass.
Perfect, that's it. Think about anything else. This last event is the run, and this is the one we're going to find out whether or not your strategy worked. If you paced yourself on their events properly and you did a good job, you shouldn't have too much trouble on the run. If you push yourself a little too hard on their events, you may find this is going to be a lot more grueling of an event than you expected it to be. All right, on your mark, get set, go. We believe in you. Come on, sprint all the way in, all the way to the line. That's the fastest 2 mile I've ever seen.
I know, I'm fast, man. Super fast.
2 minute, 2 mile.
All right. Is that all we got, Sergeant Grayson?
That's it, that's the ACFT. Well, Sergeant Heck, I don't know about you, but I had a great time watching you work out.
I had an amazing time sweating, killing my body, and enjoying the ACFT. Gives
You
it
don't have the forearm yet. Where you
I got a little bit.
Forearm?
Look.
Baby forearm.
There's a little muscle
shaking.
there.
Oh, shake like a little lamb.
Who did the ACFT though? No.